and I'm happy to take questions. There's a question. Do we have microphones?
Who has questions?
There's a lady in the back.
Thank you, Ayang Rahma from Sahid University. If the paper after review and have a rejected letter, but the editorial journal didn't give information about the rejection, may the author know or ask to the editorial about the rejection?
Sorry, I'm not sure if I got that. Are you asking what to do if you don't get information about the rejection?
Yes, the editorial didn't give the information about the rejection, and the author want to know what kind of the rejection is.
I think it's perfectly legitimate to send a polite email to the editor asking them to briefly explain why the paper was rejected, and so that maybe just say that you would like to improve the paper so that another journal will accept it. It's fine to ask them for advice.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Who would like to go next?
Thank you. I'm from Erlangga University, Surabaya. I would like to ask, is it possible if our rejected manuscript could be accepted in other journals with better ranking than the journal that we submitted before?
Yes, it's possible. It has actually happened to my team as well. That initially we submitted the paper. Happened to me a few years ago. I'll give you an example from real life. I had done a data mining study of the literature. Just got lots of data points in tables from 50 years of literature. And I didn't think it was a very exciting paper, so I submitted it to a journal called the Publications of the Astronomical Society of Australia, which is what we call a second-tier journal, because I didn't think it was that exciting. And then that journal didn't want my paper. Oh, okay. Well, let me try to submit it to one of the main journals in the field, higher ranked. And they really liked it, so I got that paper accepted. And that was a bit of a surprise to me, but that actually set off a series of 4 articles using similar techniques but different subjects that turned now into a very nice series of papers. So initially I didn't think, I thought, you know, the work I've done, that's just a nice little exercise, I'll get it published in a not so good journal, just to get it out of the way. And then in the end it turned into a really nice series of papers that people are referring to right now. So it is possible. My students have done similar things. They've submitted a number of papers to fairly lowly ranked journals that didn't want it, and then we went to a higher ranked journal and they said, oh, this is really cool, yeah, we'll publish it. So yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I have 2 more questions. The first one is about the use of grand theory. For example, grand theory. Yeah, for example, if I have a manuscript, I have a literature review about the previous research, and then but in my manuscript there's no indication that I applied the grand theory. Can this be a reason for rejections?
It depends on how important the theory is in your field.
Well, example, in my area, in the accounting area, there are many theories, grand theories. For example, like agency theory or institutional theory, yeah, something like that.
I see.
Yeah, and yeah.
So the way that I would write something, a paper like that, is make clear that you spell out the hypothesis of the study, and then write your literature review. Write your literature review around that hypothesis.
Okay.
And so, just to make clear that you are fully up to date with the literature in your particular field as it relates to the hypothesis, and in that case, you will probably be able to get around the need to refer to those theories.
Okay, yeah, but sometimes in my experience, it was difficult for me to find appropriate theory that I want to use in my manuscript. So that's why I'm asking you.
It is possible. Well, so I can imagine that if you write it the way I just suggested it, and you get it, you get a revision, so you get the reviewers' reports back, and they complain about it. You can actually say in your response that there is no direct way to link it to any of those bad theories.
Okay. So is it possible if I write in my manuscript, for example, that there's no direct link, but for example, particular theory with my hypothesis is that will be
because I think that will be fine, because that shows that you are aware of where the field is leading. Right?
Yeah. Okay. My second question, my last question, it's about the qualitative research. But in our field in accounting is starting to emerge using the qualitative research. So could you please give an insight if I conduct the qualitative research, what can we do to avoid the rejections? Because you have explained us in terms of the quantitative research. So how about the qualitative research, especially in terms of the methodology? Thank you.
This is not my expertise. I imagine that relates to what I referred to earlier as the complaint that this paper is descriptive, right? So, in the sense that there is no real hard facts-based basis underlying the work, and you're just, in essence, describing qualitative results. That may work, but it probably doesn't work for publication in the top journals. But it might work in a lower-end journal, actually.
No, I think in my area, in the accounting area, for example, in a accounting organization and society, they have many qualitative research. Yeah, but I mean that if it's okay if I conduct the qualitative research, but in the literature review I refer to the previous research that were conducted in quantitative manner.
Yeah, that sounds fine. So the whole point is, in order to stand the best chance of getting a paper accepted, is have a good storyline.
Okay.
Make sure that your arguments are clearly supported by the literature in this particular case, and so make sure that there's a tight line throughout the manuscripts. And so if a paper has been written clearly and logically, you have a better chance of getting accepted eventually.
Thank you very much.
Some questions here.
Thank you. My name is Luki from Diponegoro University, Semarang. Please let me know how can reviewers know that the paper is plagiarism or not? How can the reviewers know plagiarism or not? Plagiarism?
Plagiarized. There are two ways here. Most international journals these days feed new submissions through automated systems that check for plagiarism. They don't check for plagiarism, they check for text overlap with previous publications. And that could be plagiarism. So what you get is you get a report back that says the similarity score of your new submission is so many %. And that means that there's so much text overlap between your new submission and a whole database of previous publications. So that's one thing. So in our journal, if the similarity score is higher than about 25%, the editor actually looks at it in some detail to see if sentences have been directly taken from other papers, because you get to see, in different colors, which sentences are similar to sentences in other manuscripts. Sometimes So there is, most of the time, particularly in the natural sciences, there is some overlap. We're not even talking about references, but the methodology is often very similar from paper to paper. And often there's only a few ways in which you can describe a certain method. So often there is some overlap there. Sometimes in the acknowledgements we use the same phrases, that gets flagged up as a text overlap as well, which is quite annoying. Also in the affiliations of the authors, that sometimes gets flagged up. So anything below 20% of overlap is nothing serious. I have seen papers that has 40% of overlap, and then I looked at them in detail, and it turns out there was different sentences from a whole variety of different papers, which were maybe not even lifted, but simply flowed better. So the automated systems are not foolproof, that's what I'm saying. So the editor will look at it in the first place. So any comments you might receive about plagiarism or self-plagiarism, very likely come from the editor and not from the reviewer. Sometimes it happens, and I've seen this as well, that a reviewer gets back to the editor and says, look, I've just reviewed this paper, or started to review this paper, and I recognize a lot of sentences because they came from my own previous paper. I've written that once as a reviewer myself. But most of the time, these comments don't come from the reviewer, they come from the editor. And so, in practical terms, from your perspective, when writing a paper, try to write it in your own words. Paraphrase sentences if you like them, but don't literally copy and paste them.